I have been trained in an institute called Institute of Rural Management, and I've always been inspired by the fact that Amul was just next door. And if it is so successful, I always had this question: why not we build similar kind of such things for many more communities? So the first 3-4 years, I spent a little bit of time with a very intensive grassroots organization. And there I got luckily a very beautiful opportunity to organize India's first cooperative dairy union. So all women cooperative dairy union. So having experienced this and subsequently worked with the government helped me to understand that government has the right intentions and it wants to deliver to the community, but it doesn't have the really the significance in terms of investments that they can make, because they are compelled to cater to everybody. So that's when I decided that if I have to continue this journey where I have to work on significant enterprises and really transform the lives of the women, then the only way to do is to set up my own organization. Yeah, so the model is pretty simple. We choose areas which are deliberately, because we are an impact first kind of oriented enterprise, we deliberately choose tough areas where government's presence is almost nil, or probably they really cannot reach out. Probably banks cannot reach out, and these are the areas that we pick up. So in each of these sectors, what we do is that we identify areas which are the most marginalized in many ways. So if you look at agriculture sector, we identify rain-fed areas where irrigation facilities are minimal, and tribal areas where subsistence is the only way to live. So we pick up the toughest areas and then we go to these locations. We have two models. We collectivize the women at the scale of 3,000 to 5,000 women and help them set up a significant enterprise with a 10 to 15 crore kind of investment, where they can set up value addition units within the existing agriculture and forestry and these kind of sectors. And at the same time, we also work with individual women, where we identify women from within these 3,000 to 5,000 women and help them to set up their own micro enterprises. Today, average woman in the rural area and tribal area gets around 40,000 to 50,000 rupees per annum as income. Now we want to transform this into anywhere between 2 lakhs to 2.5 lakhs. That's the whole goal. And if that transition has to happen, we believe that an investment of 1 lakh is required on each of these women. Yeah, so the vision can be actually broken down into 2-3 issues. The first issue is that I feel that it's a shame that in a country which is 75-year-old, we don't have brands which represent the interest of women, right? We just maybe have anecdotal reference to Seva, and they've created a bank, and that's it. So Seva has stopped there. Then we have Lichat Papad working with another 40,000 women, right? And it's a huge brand. Today, 2,000 crore sales happen, and these are really taken with respect, right? India is a country of 100 crore people, right? And 120 crore, we are moving fast. Why do we require, do we have only two brands to represent the interest of half of our population? So we need to create more such kind of brands which are really market savvy, which represent the interest of women, which creates wealth for the woman and at the same time takes care of the consumer needs. But more importantly, as we do this, we are going to base this on a lot of underlying innovations. So we want that to be known as the first tribal women enterprise in the country. I don't think people even recognize that there is no tribal women enterprise in the country, and we want to create that. So in many ways, whatever we are going to do is all going to be first, because it's very nascent. Nobody's working on these areas. Nobody's worrying about these things. No, so I won't give my own message, but I would give all my great mentors who have given me the message. And I am lucky to have all these people mentoring me. And of course, my mother, who has been a big guide to me in my life. So I will start with my mother's message. My mother always says that you need to deserve before you desire. So every entrepreneur should not get carried away with Flipkarts and all of these, right? You have to understand what is it that you're trying to create for the ecosystem to appreciate, and to earn the accolades or whatever, the growth rates, the money, the valuations, whatever they aspire for. If they are aspiring, then I think every time when you don't get it, a response from the ecosystem, ask yourself, do you really deserve? The second advice that I got, and of course we are all students of Dr. Varghese Kurian, and he's a great man. So he always says that the mentors will respond only when you are really properly skilled and focused and you're persistent. So focus, persistence, and concentrated effort. Shashi Rajagopalan's message was very clear. She used to say that power is in when you take responsibility. So if you really want to become powerful, the only way is get onto the ground, start doing great work, power will automatically start coming to you, right? And investors will come to you. You have to make yourself in such a way that investors should line to invest in you, not the way other around, where we have to go and knock the doors. Professor Raju told me one idea, which is again, I feel that, ideas are always transitory. What will persist is what we create over a period of time in terms of culture and mechanisms within the enterprise. So if you're really building great institutions, then you have to worry about culture rather than just ideas. Investors are going to realize very soon that you cannot sail on entrepreneurs. You have to invest onto institutions and enterprises which have the power to keep generating multiple ideas or multiplying more ideas. So these are the 4 or 5 messages. I think I will leave with that.